Before we start off with today's video, I want to talk to you guys about my friends over at So Avant-Garde. So Avant-Garde is a place where you can go and you can explore a wide range of niche perfumery. So much variety. They have discovery sets, they have samples, they have a lot to offer for those looking to elevate their collection, those who are curious about other things, of other qualities, of other brands in perfumery. All right, so save yourself some money. Use my code DEDRICK10. DEDRICK10 gets you 10% off on anything on So Avant-Garde. All right, so I know a lot of people are really in love with the brand of Mind Games as well. So I got something for you too. You want to head over to Mind Games and do some discovery, do some searching, do some looking, save yourself some money by using DEDRICK10 as well over at mindgames.com. All right, so head over there, see what you like, see what you're interested in. I recommend sampling. All right, and then you can get you a good feel if you want to make a purchase from So Avant-Garde or mindgames.com. All right, so y'all check it out. Let me know what you guys get into, what you guys like. Let me know down below in the comments, man. And happy exploring for sure. All right, let's get started with today's video. YouTube, what's going on? YouTube, what's going on, YouTube? You've done this before. Matter of fact, you've almost done this 1,000 times. Take one. YouTube, what's going on, YouTube? What is going on? What is happening, man? Of course, it's your guy, one more time, DEDRICKHJR, and I'm back with another fragrance video. Smell good, family. Hopefully everyone is doing great, doing fantastic, doing really well. Positive energy, positive vibes. Y'all know how we rock out here on this channel, man. Positive vibes only. All right, so today we're back with a request video. All right, I had a handful of members over the past few weeks from the Smell Good family say, hey D, can we get a first date top 10 or recommendations for a first date? And sure, I haven't done a video like this in quite some time, so this would really be fun to do. So I put my mind in their shoes. If it's a first date and I'm in the midst of new company, somebody who I'm pursuing or trying to get to know a date, not a hookup, not a, y'all know what I'm talking about. We're talking about a real date, all right? So that means you're taking pride in your appearance. You might be a little bit nervous. You took your time to pick the restaurant and all things. You really care about, this particular first impression, this first potential monumental step in a potential dope relationship, all right? So that's what we're talking about. So I have 7 fragrances here today that if I were you, in what I have with what I have in my collection, I would definitely consider these to wear on a first date, and I'll explain them all as we get started. All right, so up first for me personally, and I'm not taking seasons or anything into consideration because it could be any time of year that anybody could be seeing this video. But me personally, I'm not trying to wear nothing that's overly dramatic. I'm not trying to just paint a picture of someone that I'm not by trying to impress someone. And sometimes, people fall into that. So these fragrances here are very, most of them easy to wear. They do have some personality, and the potential of creating a memory is possible. And up first, we're talking about from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. We have YSL's Babycat. YSL's Babycat. Why Babycat? This is a very smooth, warm vanilla. A little smoky tones to it, but I think this is a super easy wear, and I also think this is an attractive fragrance. I think when you go vanilla and you add a little bit of smokiness, a little bit of a spice to it, it can really become something that could be enticing. Not saying regular vanilla scents don't do that, but just to my nose, I like a smoky vanilla. And I think in a first date situation, you can come off inviting, you can come off a little bit warm, and also there may be a little bit of mysterious factor to you wearing a fragrance like this. Of course, being dressed appropriately and being groomed to the T is going to be critical in a first date or any date situation, in my opinion. And I think YSL Babycat is a fragrance that could definitely not put too much pressure on the situation or you. You're gonna smell good, you're gonna smell warm and inviting, but there definitely is a bit of mysterious vibes, a mysterious nature to this fragrance for sure. All right, so first up on the list from the house of YSL Yves Saint Laurent, we have Babycat. Babycat. All right, up next, haven't really heard me talk about this fragrance much on this channel, but I think it's an excellent option for a first date situation from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. Yet again, we have YSL's La Nuit de L'Homme, the EDP. The EDP. Now, you get your La Nuit de L'Homme vibes with this one, but you have the additions of a grapefruit citrus in here. You get your cardamom, you get your freshness from your lavender, you get your sweet tones, and then this also has a woodsy vibe to this, kind of a little bit darker and less. Well, yeah, it stays dark. Well, it's darker and a little bit less sweeter than the original, but this one kind of gives a slight masculine touch to it with the woods in here, especially as it dries down. You keep your freshness, that fresh spicy kick, and that grapefruit kind of adds a different dimension to this. Now, this one doesn't get talked about really at all from what I can see, but in my opinion, for a first date night, depending, most people go to a restaurant, they probably get some dinner, and they're sitting across from each other trying to get to know each other. That's a basic first date, dinner. Maybe you might go to a lounge or something like that afterwards, and you're kind of just in each other's presence. This one right here could really give off some really solid vibes of, okay, maybe he doesn't take himself too seriously. He does smell good. He smells interesting, interesting, however you want to word it. This is what I get from that. And of course, being groomed, I'm gonna say this with every fragrance we talk about today. Being groomed and being the best version of yourself in the moment is going to be critical in all first date situations. And La Nuit de L'Homme, the EDP, doesn't get much talk, but I think it fits a great circumstance or a great situation where a first date night could be something where this could benefit you. From the house of Yves Saint Laurent, YSL's La Nuit de L'Homme, the EDP. This one gets forgot about. Not a lot of conversation about this, but it is still good. Up next, for those looking for a little bit more of a fun approach, maybe you're going bowling or to Topgolf or, something fun. Maybe you're doing something, maybe like a sipping paint, where you go paint and sip. I think that's what it's called, where you go paint and wine and, you guys are having a good time, laughing at each other's drawings. This could be something. And it's mass appealing and it works. From the house of, yet again, Yves Saint Laurent, we have YSL's Myslf. Yves Saint Laurent heavy, but these fragrances work. Now I know there's a Le Parfum sighting that's out there. Haven't got my nose on it yet, but I love this. All right, and this is heavy orange blossom, sweet amber, fresh, and it just works, man. And this is something where the whole white floral conversation when it comes to us fellas is always something to discuss, but ladies love this. All right, and you're gonna come off fun. You're gonna come off a vibe, in my opinion. I think in a fun setting, if that's going to be your first date option, this is going to work for you because you're just going to smell really good. Don't overdo it with this one. Give yourself about 3 to 4 sprays and call it a night. The last thing you want to do is overpower somebody with your fragrance, especially in the first date situation, because that's going to be the first sign that you are trying way too hard. So fellas, be yourself. All right, be dressed, be groomed, 3 to 4 sprays, you're gonna be good to go. This is a fan favorite, mass appealing, just overall smells good. And I think, your date will appreciate this too, especially in that fun environment. From the house of Yves Saint Laurent, we have YSL's Myslf, the original. All right, the original EDP. All right, so we're gonna break away from the YSL Y chain, and I promise you, I didn't even realize that the first 3 were from YSL, but all 3 different profiles, and they definitely are great for first date, vibes. All right, up next, we're gonna switch up the tones and switch up the pace here just a bit. We're gonna go fresh, we're gonna go clean. Those who are not looking to really be alarming with your fragrance, but you do want to smell classy, you do want to smell clean, but you also want to have a little bit of an interesting vibe with your fragrance. And this right here just works for that. From the house of Vertus Petit, we have Bois et Cuir. Bois et Cuir. I always got to give a big shout out to my brother Jason Vercher for putting me and a lot of the community on this fragrance. Clean, fresh. There's some fresh, you know, there's a kind of a fresh, spicy green tones. There's a soft vanilla in here, soft leather in here. A grapefruity, bergamot opening. It's classy. And it just absolutely works. Put yourself in the mindset of your Creed Aventuses and your Cedrat Boisés and fragrances like that. It's in the wheelhouse, but it does its own thing. This is a more softer approach to those two previous fragrances that I mentioned. And if you're looking for something that's not going to be alarming, but you're going to be smelling good, you could be in close quarters, you could be going to the movies, then dinner. This is something that'll work because it's not going to be overwhelming. It's going to be something that's going to allow your scent to do the talking. You know, you can go, you know, first date, intimate setting. You probably want to go 4 to 5 sprays. It's going to work. One behind each ear, maybe one to the back of the head, one at the chest, and maybe one at the belly. You know, something that's going to allow your sillage to really maneuver in the way that you want it to, for sure. So this is one to absolutely consider. You can get this for a great price on discounters, a more clean, take on a fragrance for a first date that has class. Smells really, really good, of high quality, and I just think it'll work. I think it will work for sure. From the house of Vertus Petit, we're talking Bois et Cuir for a first date. Bois et Cuir. You don't want that much attention on you? Perfect. All right. Next up, this one is going to garner you a lot of attention, and it could cause a problem. You could be doing the old setup for date number 2 with how this fragrance could create conversation. And I'm talking about, she could go home and get on the phone with her girls and be like, hey, this dude here, this and that, but he was smelling crazy, you know? And this is a crazy fragrance. From the house of Nazar fragrances, we're talking Black Butter. Wow. I finally got my hands on Black Butter from Nazar. Shout out to my man, Terrence. Goodness gracious. You're talking a buttery fragrance. You have a silky, fruity mango and blueberry. There's this roasted vanilla in here. Roasted vanilla, roasted tonka bean in here. It's so many notes. This is gourmand, it's buttery, it's silky, it's smooth, and it is scrumptious. Why this for a first date? Well, let's say it's a type of first date where you and the person that you have, you know, you're going on the first date with, maybe y'all been talking already. Maybe there have been conversations. Maybe I've run into each other a couple of times. Maybe there's a rapport there, but not an official first date. And you are trying to really let it be known that you are somebody worth it. Somebody that's worth the while. That's basically what you're giving off here. And with a fragrance like this, 2 sprays only, it's going to cause a conversation that can lead down a healthy date. Meaning there could be talks about childhood, there could be talks about, you know, previous experiences, the future, and, you know, what's your outlook. There could be tons of things, because you are going to come off as someone who commands and demands attention with how you smell and how you look. This is a dangerous fragrance. So this might be second date already in mind. You want to secure that because you're confident in your approach. You're going to be confident in how you're going to project and how you're going to dress. You're confident in even your previous rapports with that special someone. Black Butter from Nazar is a problem. And I'm putting it in here for a certain type of first date situation that I think this will absolutely work in. From the house of Nazar fragrances, we're talking Black Butter. You can use my code King Dedrick 15 to get 15% off of this beautiful masterpiece. That's what I think. I think it is a beautiful, beautiful masterpiece of a fragrance. And it's not only great for first dates, it's great for dates, period. Black Butter, Nazar fragrances. All right, up next, let's go to a classic, something that's not too sweet, something that is interesting, something that is just a flat out classic. Let's say you are going somewhere and there's a more intimate vibe. Like I said before, a movie, maybe a, y'all might be sharing a booth, maybe y'all are somewhere close, tight quarters, and maybe like a homegrown restaurant that's not so popular, and there's an opportunity for a little bit more of an intimate opportunity, and this is fantastic. From the house of Tom Ford, we have Noir Extreme. We had to throw a classic in here. The beautiful note of coffee is in here. This is a very sweet, dark, sexy, erotic style of a fragrance, in my opinion. This is attractiveness in a bottle. This is confidence in a bottle. This is sexiness in a bottle. If you're stepping out in your all blacks and you're well groomed, it might be a nighttime dinner, and you are fully invested in the person that you are interested in, and you want there to be no ifs, no ands, of no buts of what your intentions are with what you're going to be bringing to the table, something like this on top of everything else that you have in store could definitely work to your benefit in a first date situation. Tom Ford makes excellent fragrances, and they also really gravitates to those more sexier, confident style of scents. But this is a classic in the community. You do have a parfum concentration. You don't want that for a first date. That needs to be reserved for something else. We'll get into that later, maybe part 2 of this video if y'all are interested. But a first date night, maybe it's a cooler atmosphere, winter, fall, you're stepping out into a restaurant where you're saying, hey, we're going to a dope restaurant. I got the car clean. I'm all around the wheels. I got my fit. I'm groomed. I'm ready to go. And this is somebody who I want to hit a home run with. Okay, cool. Here you go. You want to put yourself on full display. You're not trying to hold back. Okay, here you go. From the house of Tom Ford, you have Noir Extreme, which I believe is a very, very sexy choice and option for a first date with that someone who you're trying to let them know, hey, I ain't wasting your time. All right. And last but not least, let's switch up the tones yet again, more of a fun environment. Let's say, it's your typical, like I said, bowling. Maybe y'all going to go do some mini golf, miniature golf. Maybe, something where y'all can move around and y'all are having a good time. And this is a classic in the community, but this particular version doesn't get mentioned much, but I think it's the best of the line. From the house of Dior, we're talking Dior Sauvage, the Parfum. To me, this is a can't miss. And when I say a can't miss, I'm saying the profile and the direction that this goes. So you got your Dior Sauvage classic DNA, but it's a softer take on the DNA. There's a powdery feel, a vanilla feel, citrus, fresh, spicy tones in here. This stuff just absolutely works. It's going to be, I don't want to call it safe, but safe. This is something that's just flat out attractive. This is one of those you smell good fragrances no matter what's going on or what style of date it is. But on the first date, if you're trying to really be the package of somebody who is put together nicely but smelling really, really good, and you're scared of maybe a Babycat, or you're scared of maybe a black butter, and you're not trying to go that route. You want to go more of a safer DNA, something that you feel that can work. Well, here you go. Upscale a little bit. Move away from the EDT. Move away from that EDP. Check out the Parfum, because the Parfum leans more off of those two, the EDT and the EDP. This stuff is phenomenal. My favorite of the original 3. And for a fun date night, something where y'all are kind of moving around. Y'all might be going to an art museum. Maybe y'all are walking around looking at paintings. Maybe, just something different where you're just not sitting on your butts and talking. Y'all moving around. This performs. This works. Great first date option from the house of Dior. We got Dior Sauvage Parfum. I'm a believer in this one. Not a lot of talk about this one ever. But maybe y'all should check it out. All right. So those are 7 first date options that you know, if I was in your guys' shoes, I would consider these for sure. But they're also something to get your nose on to see if it could work for yourself. Remember, these first dates, man, yes, they can be critical. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But if you're coming out presented, you know, in a beautiful way with how you're groomed and how you're dressed, and, you know, make sure your car's clean, make sure you're putting your best foot forward in a situation where you're looking to, you know, perhaps, you know, really see what's up and push the pace on that someone who you're interested in. All right, so hopefully y'all enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys for the suggestions and the recommendations on these videos. As I see them, I try to bring them to life, and I definitely appreciate y'all for sure. All right, so good luck to everybody out there with a possible first date. I hope it goes really well. And of course, until next time, be safe, be cool, take care of yourselves, positive energy, positive vibes, splack up, splack it down, splack that thing all around. And remember, what you put onto this world is exactly what you are going to get back. Remember that, y'all. Peace, splack.